Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Art DiBenedetto, Superintendent of Schools, Hopatcong Borough, proud to be here to talk a little bit about an update as to what's been going on with our school district. I humbly apologize for my attire. I have a date with a chainsaw and a couple of trees at about 4 o'clock this afternoon, and I'm not dressed properly for this. Mr. Picarillo is on my side here. Joe, as you know, is Assistant Superintendent. Between us, we are going to try to give you some updates, tell you what's been good, what's been bad, and what's been ugly, and how we're trying to fix things that are in those latter categories.
We should say that even though we are here at work, you can see we have been social distancing ourselves. So this is good. I prefer Art to always be 6 feet away from me as a general rule of thumb. So this is helpful.
One of the items that we'd like to talk about has to do with the fact that across the board, our teaching staff members have been extremely excellent in what is really a new adventure in education in our part of the state. We have had significant, excellent preparation on the part of staff members to present information to kids in an alternative manner. That's not to say this is without problems, but generally speaking, overall, I must state that we had an optimistic outlook when we started, and we have exceeded expectations in terms of how things are going quite well. We will not try to paint the rosy picture only. We will give you the other part of things too. But overall, things are quite good. A couple of the items that we're having challenges with center on one, special education. As you know, an individual educational plan is a very detailed and specific document. The expectations in it are very difficult to implement at a time when we can't present people in person. So occupational, physical, those therapies are very difficult to put forth in a way which is appropriate to the IEP. We have a little bit better luck with speech therapy. Our speech therapists have been making strong attempts to reach kids through video, through phones, et cetera, but I am worried about OT and PT. Those related services are really in-person services. Similarly, ABA therapy is another challenge. Applied behavioral analysis is something that is almost always done by a trained person. We did our best to try to train parents to do some work in that area, but that is a significant challenge. And imagine being the parent of a severely handicapped child in a situation like this, where the child is restricted to the home. We had some technical issues. Joe and Kyle have been excellent in putting forth items that correct those. Joe, maybe you could detail a little bit about some of the tech issues and how we solved them.
Yeah, so first off, I have to give a shout out to our teachers, because the truth is, if you went back in time to the beginning of the school year and you said, hey, in the course of just a couple of weeks, you would have your entire school district operating online, no one would have believed you. And in fact, many of the teachers that are doing this right now would have said it would be impossible for them to do it, but they have really jumped at the challenge. And we have teachers that would have called themselves technological novices just a couple of weeks ago that are really now doing full digital work. So we're using Google Classroom. That's the one thing to know. We've done that from grades really starting in the middle school with grades 4 all the way up through the high school, grade 12. And we started with packets, paper packets, for our Durban Avenue students and our Tulsa Trail students at the elementary level. However, we're starting to digitize that. Initially, we were under the impression this would be 2 weeks. We're now finding this is going to last much longer than that. So when we had 2 weeks, we put packets together. We did that follow-up packets since then. But now you're starting to see teachers becoming more and more comfortable moving to a hybrid model of online activity, which I know the parents had asked us for, and the parents and the teachers are really enjoying that hybrid model. One of the things that is happening as a result of this is, Mr. D was mentioning, are some challenges that are coming up. Now, we had challenges with connectivity of all students being able to access internet. We have been able to brainstorm and problem solve on that level. We're really thankful for Kyle Bizignani, who's been on the front lines of making that happen. We've also had to help in terms of some Chromebooks that would go down, replacing those, making repairs. Again, the whole tech team has been on top of that really, really nicely. Some other areas are areas that I call these nice problems to have. I know the principal at the high school, Mr. Bonato, has been receiving lots of messages from teachers that have said some teachers try to set up these Google Classroom, all the students together in one Google Meet at once, which is really great because it gives you more of an authentic classroom experience. But the nice problem to have that I'm mentioning is now you're having kids that are triple booked at the same time from 11 to noon. They've got 3 appointments of 3 different classes. Now the reason for that is our school is doing asynchronous work. In other words, in general, a video will go out, a kid can watch it at his or her leisure and do the work and hand it in. But now that teachers are becoming more comfortable, they say, well, why can't we meet in person? And so now we're starting to see Google Invites go out, face-to-face interaction, and this is really great. So how do we solve this? The one thing that we've been doing is polling the students. So we're using things like just sending out a message to students, hey, let me know what time works best for you if we were all going to meet. And so teachers are now polling students, getting responses, finding times that work. Teachers are also working with other teachers to find out, well, hey, Miss Williams, when are you doing your Google Meet? And there's a lot of coordination, and it's amazing that all this is happening from everyone's home. So, and then another piece that we're doing are these study groups that are being recorded by teachers and then sent out to their students. And students can watch this at 2 a.m. Some do. Watch the video. They're able to send some responses to the teacher, and then the teacher is able to answer them and get back to students. So these are all things that we never would have thought we could do, and yet we're doing it. And so I just have to say, I'm very thankful to all the teachers, all the students, because at the end of the day, the students have to be willing to meet halfway also. We talk a lot about all the teachers' work, and teachers have been tremendous, but the students have to adapt as well. Sometimes we think of students as, oh, they've been doing technology for so long, this is easy for them. But this is a change for everybody. So teachers, students, administrators, and of course the parents that are on the front lines of some of them working from home and helping their children. So it's been a really great community building experience for everybody.
One of our worries centers on the fact that not all parents have been able to work at home. So I'll give an example. We have one family who the mom is a nurse in New York City. The dad works for the Federal Reserve in New York City. And it is very difficult for those people to interact with their kids, to assist them in their work. And many times some of the students who are advanced have a significant amount of work to accomplish. We want people to be assured that in circumstances like that, we are not going to hold that against any student. We have an understanding capacity to realize that not every circumstance in a home is going to be perfect for what we're trying to do. So please, do not be overly concerned. Similarly, with some special education students who might have the use of a paraprofessional in the classroom, we don't have a paraprofessional in the home. So therefore, that there is a possibility that some of those children might be struggling. We need parents to keep a governor on the amount of work that gets done. Do not overburden the child. We are understanding. We will work all of this out when it's done. We're not going to be overly concerned about it right now. Generally speaking, we want this to be an experience that we get through. We do the best we can with it. We'll worry about the outcomes in the end, in terms of grades, in terms of missed work, things like that. That is not to be an overwhelming concern on the part of our family.
And one of the things that we've been trying to find the right balance from our offices, because the truth of the matter is this: we need students to know that this is school right now. This is not an extra assignment that's online. This is how school will be operating. So you do see messages coming out from our offices and from the principals stating you have to do your work. This is school. You must be online. You must be completing assignments. But like Mr. D said, I don't want to be naive to the fact that there are different circumstances. You just have to let us know. So you can email me, you can email Mr. D, you can email your building principal or your teacher, and please express to us what those concerns are. I did release a message out recently on social media to the same, expressing the same sentiment. So many of you have been following us on social media. I would encourage you to keep doing that, using our social media handles, but also doing hashtag Hopatcong, because we've had just unbelievable amount of people connecting with us that way, with pictures and videos of their kids working from home. It's really inspirational for us to see it, and it's a way of connecting us, because even though we're getting great work done, there is a piece that can never be replicated because we can't all be together. And especially at a time like this, you want to see your friends. You want to have that connectivity. And hopefully using that hashtag and seeing everybody working together can somehow come close to the replicating what that is. I wanted to say two other items. One, the amount of work that Mr. D was talking about, we're struggling between finding what's too much work and what's not enough work, and that pendulum will swing back and forth until we find that happy medium over time. I'll speak from experience. I teach classes at Sussex County Community College. I've had to do the same, hurry up and get everything online that our teachers have had to do here. And I know I made the mistake of doing too much work initially. I gave so much work out to students, and then I couldn't possibly grade it all. I said, what the heck was I thinking? So now I'm trying to find a place where there's enough work for the students that they're not overwhelmed, and I can get that back to them in a reasonable amount of time. So that's one important piece. The other important piece I wanted to say, and it relates back to connectivity, is we do realize that for some students, not being in a place where they can see their friends, have their routine, see the teachers that are really impactful in a positive way in their lives can be really very difficult. We understand that, and as a result, there are guidance counselors, school counselors, different staff members that are able to video conference with students. We also are putting up very soon on Monday a full list of resources that address social, emotional learning needs, because for some students this is a very difficult time, not being in those routines. So know that that's coming from our offices, and that will be up online soon. Thanks.
And with those kids, that is more important than the work. The idea that a child feels that someone is paying attention to him or her when they're in need is more vital than that kid finishing that math assignment or language arts. Last thing I want to say is that I believe if you ask the community, people who've contacted us have been replied to, whether it's by a principal, a teacher, one of us over here. We have been doing our best to make sure that each and every outreach is responded to in an appropriate and quick manner. And I believe that you would find that to be an accurate statement. Other than that, keep the faith. We're probably going to be doing this longer than we want to. Maintaining a positive attitude is vital for everyone. Summary: we can do a better job when we're communicated with by our clientele. If we don't know an issue, if we don't know of a problem, if we don't know of a concern, we can't do anything about it. We're welcoming communication from our clients. We're welcoming constructive criticism. The more you give us, the better we can do.